of our new working relationship. We also commit to reach out to other leaders from different sectors of our nation in this endeavor. This is Marcelin Chikasha, African Democratic Party, Gilbert Zikiji, Democratic Assembly of Restoration and Empowerment, Joseph Busha, Free Zimbabwe Congress, Cosmas Mponda, Freedom Front, Simba Makoni, Marambukusi Ledon, Edwin Shoriwa, Movement for Democratic Change, Tendai Biti, Progressive Democrats of Zimbabwe, Elton Mango, Victor Mpofungwaladi, Progressive Democrats of Zimbabwe. Tendai Biti is Progressive Democratic Party, sorry. Elton Mangoma, Renewal Democrats of Zimbabwe, Jacob Ngarevume, Transform Zimbabwe, Denford Musiarira, Zimbabwe African National Union Ndonga, Dumiso Dabengwa, Zimbabwe African People's Union, and Farah Indira, Zimbabweans United for Democracy. I thank you. This statement will be mailed to you through the good offices of the Media Center as soon as we conclude our visits here. I am happy to clarify any points that you may wish, but that is the essence of the message that I present to you on behalf of myself and 12 of my colleagues. I thank you. As you, please, if you can assist us.
Okay, so maybe we'll take it out. We have Mr. John here, the Chief Analyst. Yes. 3 here. So maybe we start with the 3. Chief.
My name is David Zink and I'm a freelance journalist. Considering the difficult circumstances the countries are facing, why did you have to go and meet in Cape Town?
Okay, maybe we get the other one. I will say them.
Yes.
John?
Doctor, from the time that you admitted the idea of coming together under the auspices of NERA, what have been the benefits or the progress, the benefits, and some of the disadvantages in the family that you created? Why is it that we don't seem to see representatives from other political parties who were at the forefront when NERA was formed, the likes of maybe MDCT, the Morgan Stanley?
Chief.
Okay, my question is just maybe see clarity on what we managed to gather yesterday when the president of the FTC, Mr. Morgan Tsvangirai, admitted that he was not aware of this meeting which was taking place in South Africa. So we'd like to know how this unity will come into being when others are being left out of the negotiations at the initial stages like this.
Okay, let's deal with those first and then we can take others on. Why meet in Cape Town? If you follow the history of conflict resolution throughout the world, including our own, there are times and circumstances which warrant that you engage in a neutral venue. Our independence was born out of negotiations in London. We had rounds of negotiations on a ship called Fearless on the Mediterranean, in Geneva, in Malta. If you follow negotiations in many other countries, Yasser Arafat and Menachem Begin met in Camp David in the US. It's a strategy to provide a conducive environment for focused, uninterrupted discussions. among protagonists in a situation. We were offered the facility of a very tranquil environment among the vineyards of Cape Town. We didn't go to holiday. For 4 intense days, we were starting meetings at 8 o'clock and ending at 6 o'clock in the evening. So that's why Cape Town. 2, secluded, conducive environment and the opportunity of a facilitation, so as you can relate on an equal basis. I explained to you that the message I'm presenting to you is not on behalf of any entity or any organization. Certainly not on behalf of NERA, nor on behalf of CODE. It's on behalf of 13 leaders whose names I read out. Some of them happen to be in NERA, others happen to be in CODE, but the meeting was not a meeting between CODE and NERA or between any other formation. It was 13 political leaders who met to look at the future of our country and what we can do together. But because my party is not participating in NERA, I am not able to share what you asked for, the benefits of participating in NERA. But I'm sure those who are in NERA, if you give them the opportunity, they'll be able to explain that situation to you. Nobody was left out. This is what the facilitators who assisted our meeting in Cape Town told us. And some of us bear testimony because we participated. Those people made 3 trips to Harare. And they met with every one of the 13 leaders who were in Cape Town. They tell us that they also met with Mr. Trangirai more than once, and with representatives of Mrs. Mujuru, and she herself once. Each one of us, when we were approached, we were invited to participate in this consultation of Zimbabwean leaders. And each one of us took a decision to participate or not to participate. Unfortunately, I cannot represent Mr. Trangirai nor Mrs. Mujuru about their not participating. But what I can share with you, which was presented to us by the facilitators, is that those 2 were offered the opportunity to participate and they declined.
We have another round. Chief, first one. Any other? Okay, so we will go by yours.
Okay, seeing that the MDCT is the largest opposition party in this country, and you have this coalition with WMDC, is it not going to split the votes, giving an advantage to the MFA?
You away?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Maybe there would be another, I don't know, but maybe what you may also want to speak to is the invitation, the issues of the economy, maybe issues of bond loans, and so on and so forth. I think this will go out to some of our colleagues here.
When you get a chance to look at this statement, it's a very short, precise statement. Our meeting in Cape Town was to explore the prospects of our working together to solve the problems that we are all facing. It did not deal with any particular area of cooperation. That's why we are making the undertaking that before the end of this year, we will have engaged each other sufficiently to emerge with a framework that will enable us to manage our cooperation and our relationship in all the areas that would enable us to work towards the Zimbabwe that we all want. So there are two key parameters I underline in this. Firstly, that among the 13 of us, we are agreeing that we want to work together. Secondly, we are acknowledging that by our 13 of us alone, we are not enough. So we will reach out to other leaders. Hopefully, that effort, culminating by or before the end of this year, will enable us to come back to the people of Zimbabwe, not only with a structure of cooperation, but also with a program and a strategy for creating the Zimbabwe that we want, Zimbabwe that we deserve. And at that point, it may be another spokesperson, it may be me, or it may be 13 plus 1 that will be at the table together at that time. We will then share with you the way forward. So I'm not in a position to share with you because this was not our agenda in Cape Town. How are we going to manage ourselves in the next election with or without some other people? And you use adjectives that will be at the table. Who is big? Big by what standard? Big by what measure? Big by what assessment? And what is the value of that bigness compared to what other parameters, criteria that we will want to use? Numbers are important in an election, but how important are our numbers in generating ideas that offer solutions to problems of potholes, problems of food insecurity, problems of gender-based violence, problems of child marriages, all these things that now affect us. Problems of a police that's supposed to protect the people which comes to attack the people. So it's premature, and I would be going beyond my mandate because what my 12 colleagues mandated me to do was to come and share with you the outcome of our work over 3.5 days in Cape Town. And the outcome of our work is captured in 2 lines in this. We commit ourselves to work together. We commit ourselves to have agreed by the end of this year on how we are going to work together and what we are going to work together on. So I don't want to exceed my limits and my mandates. Otherwise, my colleagues will disown me. But I think it's not an unimportant message that 13 leaders are sharing with the people of Zimbabwe who are yearning for a united leadership. What we read, and we reflected this in Cape Town, literally every one of us. What we know the people to be saying to us out there is, please work together. So anybody who is not here, it's of their own volition. They were not excluded by any one of the 13. They opted, they selected, they decided not to be there. But we're also not assuming that because they were not in Cape Town, therefore they may not be in Nyanga or in Harare at our next round. That's why we're making a commitment that we will continue to reach out, not only to others in politics, but even those who are outside politics. Because solving Zimbabwe's problems require that we mobilize all the leadership assets that we have in this nation beyond politics. So I think it is important for us to make provision for that.
We have another hand. I don't know if there is another. We have missing some. So I see 2 for now. So we can go by that.
Okay. Yeah, my question would be some maybe clarification. Just as the meeting in Cape Town was going on or was being concluded, other parties have already put up candidates to lead the coalition. And I just wanted to find out if all the other parties already have candidates, because, for example, we have PDP, they've already said they will want
they will present Tendai as the candidate to lead the coalition. What would be the sentiment of other parties? They also put on the candidates who are making Tendai.
I can tell you that on the agenda of our meeting in Cape Town was not the question of a leader of the coalition. We were focusing on the issues that are confronting the nation of Zimbabwe and what we can do as leaders to contribute to the solution of those problems. If parties or people are offering themselves to be leaders, we didn't engage that. But I have no doubt that we will cross that bridge when we get there, because if we're going to be working together, there will have to be a mechanism of leadership. But that wasn't out of Cape Town.
Okay.
Dr. Makoto, one of the sticking issues is perhaps the element of who should sit down and convene and be the center of this proposed coalition. Morgan Tsvangirai tried it with his big tent, and you all snapped him. Somebody else is trying, Beat is trying with NTA. I don't see any takers around. I could be corrected with that. And here's some other attempt as well that is trying to coalesce. So in the whole aspect of who should sit down and be the convener of this thing, do you think that's where the speaking area is?
Again, if we confine ourselves to the engagement in Cape Town, I can tell you that there was no issue about who was convening the Cape Town conversation. But I can also share with you a little bit outside my Cape Town mandate that I know that 15 parties meet under the auspices of NERA literally every week here in Harare and other parts of Zimbabwe, and there is no contest about who convenes them. I can confirm to you, because I participate there, 6 currently, soon to be 7 parties meet every second week here in Harare and other parts of Zimbabwe under the auspices of code, and there is no contest about who convenes. So I am quite confident that when the 13 of us plus Y others who will come before the end of the year meet, I don't believe there will be an issue about who convenes.
Okay, we have, she's going to take it. I don't know if there is enough. So we open.
Going beyond the Cape Town meeting, I think the major issue is about the coalition that has been talked about from the last elections that we had. Do you see a coalition being formed by 2018? We are already in 2017, right? And still, you guys are still to come together to do the framework and to choose leadership and all those things. Do you foresee you guys as political leaders in Zimbabwe really coming together for the purposes of the people of Zimbabwe, not your own individual egos?
I don't know why you put a timeline to 2018.
For elections.
Elections are an important process in the political life of a country. But the crisis that we have described here goes beyond elections. But even by the timeline of elections, terminology may be very important, sometimes not. Do I see the prospects of a coalition? Already, as we speak, there are 2 groupings of political organizations that have been working together throughout 2016. One is NERA, the other one is CODE. We gathered here to share information about a gathering of 13 political parties that spent 4 days together. Whether you call it a coalition, what do I see? Before the end of this year, I see 13 political parties, maybe plus others, coming to the people of Zimbabwe with an agreement to work together. Firstly, a structure through which this document says the modalities by which we will be working together, that we will deliver to you. And at the very least, a listing of the issues, the areas, the subjects on which we will be working together. We're making an undertaking that before December 31, 2016, we will have agreed on that. Now, whether you will call that a coalition, I leave it to your judgment and your determination for having.
I don't know if we have any other question. I think we have exhausted. I don't know, Mr. Medina, maybe you have something to say.
Just to add on, to say that there is a realization that we should be working together. That's no doubt. But there's no one single person who is disagreeing with that. And all this, what we are doing, is evidence of that realization. When you see 13 people gathered together, coming out with an agreement, then there's now appetite for agreement. So I think we have now moved beyond the question whether we want to work together or we don't want to work together. It might be differences in when people say when, how, and things like that. There's a commitment to resolve that so that we come out with an agreed framework. Then I think some of these things, the big and the small terminologies that are being used, it's only to do with some perceptions that people will be trying to drive. But basically is that whether big or small, we are all not big enough to defeat ZANU-PF. So to me, it does not matter how big you are, but the bottom line is you are not big enough. Therefore, there is need to come together.
Okay.
Thank you very much. We look forward to your sharing with the people as accurate